وقد كان بالسقم دهرا طريق.
Did the Quran ever made a mistake? Well, yes. That's what the biblical Catholic scholars in the 1600s thought. Let me explain it to you. Haman in the Quran is the minister or one of the ministers of who? Of the Pharaoh. And Allah tells us about Haman, that the Pharaoh commanded him to build him a tower. Is there a mention of a Haman in the Bible? Yes. Is there a mention of Haman building a tower? Sure. But the Haman in the Bible didn't work for Pharaoh. He worked for another king named Xerxes. So the biblical Catholic scholars in the 1600s, who were first getting into Orientalist Islamic studies, they looked this thing up in the Quran and said,
Aha, we found a mistake in the Quran. Look, they are talking about Haman working under Pharaoh, while the Book of Esther tells us that Haman worked under the king named Xerxes, 1,000 years after the Pharaoh, in Babylon, not even in Egypt.
The Catholic biblical scholars claimed that whoever wrote the Quran had made an error, has placed Haman in the wrong place, and the wrong time. Their claims were based on the biblical stories. They thought that when Prophet Muhammad composed the Quran, that he has mixed between that and the biblical story and has made an error. Although, and after this particular discovery, things began to become a bit more clear. After the archaeologist Champagnon came up with the Rosetta Stone, and people of knowledge have started to understand what this ancient Egyptians believed and what they've said in the past, it became apparent that there was a man in Egypt who worked in the circle of Pharaoh. He worked in construction, and not only that, but his name was Haman. Imagine, an illiterate man in the desert 1,500 years ago, who did not even master the language of the ancient Egyptians, knew that there was a man working in the circle of the Pharaoh, whose name was Haman, while the language of the ancient Egyptians had been lost to mankind at the time the Prophet Muhammad lived. The Rosetta Stone was discovered in 1799. How could a man of 1,500 years ago know that there lived a man in ancient Egypt who worked for Pharaoh, whose name was Haman? This proves that this kind of knowledge does not come from the Prophet Muhammad who lived 1,500 years ago, but from someone who has always been there, a God, Allah, the one who revealed the Quran. Did you enjoy the video? Then like this video and subscribe on my YouTube channel with the bell on. Salam alaikum and see you soon inshallah.